Okay. Hey guys, it's Phantom, and welcome back to another Ask Phantom video where I talk about my reasonings for why I chose not to go to college after graduating high school. So, basically, when I was in high school, especially my senior year, well, it started my junior year, but all throughout high school, I was in college prep courses. And then my senior year, I took a college course. I legit took a college course in high school. So, for several years, I I thought, college isn't for me. And I was, asked about what I'd want to major in college. And I said what I'd probably want to major in if I went to college. Which was, gosh, what was it? I wanted to major in a ton of different things in college if I went to college. Um, like I wanted to be an English major. I wanted to major in uh, videography, and social media marketing. Those are things that I would want to major in college if I choose to go to college, or if I chose to go to college. But ultimately, I decided not to go to college. And let me get into that. So, basically, when I started looking at colleges, I was a junior in high school. So, I started looking at colleges. First, I started looking at a performing arts school, because you know, basically my background is I've been a performer for the. I'm not a professional performer. I wanted to go into the music industry um, since I was 13 years old. I'm not in the music industry right now, obviously. I'm in the um, I'm in the like social media videographer industry, and I'm in the gaming industry and author industry. Um, but I was okay. So basically, in high school, you have the PSATs, the SATs, and everything. You have the PSATs, the SATs, um, and then and then sometimes you have college tours, which I went on quite a couple of college tours in high school. Um, and I went on quite a few college tours in high school because I was kind of reconsidering, and then I ultimately decided not to. So I decided not to go to college because once I finished high school, which I finished a couple weeks early. I finished probably I think I finished on the 8th with all my classes and got my grades back a couple weeks later. So I came back to work right away, like right after I finished all my classes. And like right after I finished all my classes, I came right back to work, and I was like just loving it. I was loving it so much that I was happy. I was happy. I wasn't stressed. I was not stressed as much anymore. Mind you, I will always deal with stress. But pretty much my senior year was a very, very, very stressful time for me, even before everything went down. It was kind of obviously, it was a mess. It was a mess when everything went down. But because I switched to distance learning at the time, it worked in my favor. So I was able to get all my classes done, and I would usually write. I would usually write all the time because I'm a professional author. I'm a professional ebook author and a professional videographer and, YouTuber and everything along those lines. So basically, I had a job in my freshman year of high school because I was doing YouTube. I started YouTube my freshman year of high school, and as time went on, I started devoting more of my time to YouTube rather than my schoolwork. And I was just like, this is what I want to do this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And, or, for as long as I choose to, and who knows, I might do YouTube for a long, long time. Videography might be what I'm totally passionate about in 10 years, what I'm still doing in 10 years. And how I provide for myself in 10 years, among other things. Have other projects. But I cared more about making content on YouTube and, filming more than school, because I had a crazy work schedule in high school. So basically, what I would do before I switched up my schedule was I would film 3 days a week, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and then I would do homework on Sunday. I would literally wait until Sunday to do homework. I know, that was so bad of me. That was so, so bad of me. But that's how you knew that I was more into my job now. Well, I can call it my job now because I do it full time. That's how you could tell I was more into my job than my schoolwork, and then then everything started slipping. Luckily for me, I buckled down. I really, really buckled down. And, after not being allowed to, or not being able to film for 6 months, I really buckled down my senior year, because after coming back to work in the summer, I'd film every day in the summer, right? I'd film every single day in the summer. So after coming back to work in the summer, I decided to take time off. And that was the best thing I did for myself, because the last year of high school was probably the most difficult year for me, due to the fact that I was in more challenging classes and everything like that. And I remember we'd always get these slips from counselors or whatever. They weren't bad, they were just talking about, they just wanted to talk about your 4-year plan for college and everything, and stuff like that, and things like that. So basically they kept quote unquote pressuring us, talking about college, and I didn't really want to talk about college because college was an iffy subject for me. I had always had it in my mind that I didn't want to go to college unless it was online, which is true. And I chose not to pursue college, which is fine. You don't have to go to college if you don't want to. Well, some people pressure you with college. I still get college questions. I still get college questions from family that don't understand, that like don't seem to understand my views on college. I'm not against college. It's just not. I'm not against college in any way, shape, or form. It's just not for me. Like, it's not. I just knew right then and there when I came back to work. I was like, I can't be put in a stressful situation again. And school was one thing that stressed me out more than anything. Even though I ultimately graduated high school with good grades after working my butt off to get my grade, after like working my butt off to get my grades up in high school, I just knew college wasn't for me because I'm someone who learns from experience. I'm self-taught in pretty much everything I do, and I'm a naturally gifted person. So I was like, I grew up like super techie. I loved computers. I know nothing about like IT, or like IT meaning like working with like fixing computers, or building computers. I know nothing about that. I'm just saying that I'm a very tech savvy person. So I grew up with a lot of tech, is what I'm trying to say. That's where I'm trying to get at. I grew up with a lot of tech. I knew I wanted to work with tech. And that's basically what I do full time. I work with tech. I use technology every single day. I I use my phone every day. I'm on my computer all the time. Plus I have like tech in my house. I have like a smart TV that I love. I have a smart TV that I love, and that's like super super techy. And so I decided, you know what? I love what I do now. It's gonna take, it's gonna take some time and patience. That's one thing we need to know about YouTube, is that it takes time and patience to earn a living from YouTube. Um, for some people, because some people don't like blow up overnight. So, like, it takes time and patience to earn from YouTube or earn from whatever you're doing. Mind you, I may earn from books more than YouTube, which is fine. I don't really care, as long as, or like I may earn from podcasting and I may earn from podcasting and books more than YouTube at first, which is fine. I'm perfectly okay with that type of situation. But I chose not to go to college because I was more of a work-driven person. I was always business driven, from a young age. Especially my early teens, I was always business driven. I always knew I wanted to work for myself. Because I didn't like the, idea of going into work like 9 to 5 and being at a place where I wasn't happy. So I'd rather be happy than miserable at a job that I didn't particularly enjoy. Or, like, I didn't want to be stuck in a classroom. I didn't really want to be stuck in a classroom for 4 more years. because I'm very hands-on and I basically teach myself. So, also in high school, when we were, learning from home, we had to basically teach ourselves. So we'd get like assignments on a weekly basis from our teachers, like a week to a month, like weeks to months in advance. I remember I had like one assignment that was posted in, I don't know, March, and it wasn't due until like April or May, but it was like a weekly thing. Or, well, it wasn't a weekly thing, it was a daily thing, because we had to like journal our quarantine or whatever, and that's basically what I did. I kind of still have it. I still have it on my computer. Um, and so I would like kind of jot down the classes that I did that day, like what I did in my classes for those days, and what I did, um, and then what I did, um, on top of that, also, like, let's say, because, I'm a writer, so I'd say that I would always write, like, I would write all the time, like, even when I was in school, like, when I was on my lunch break, when I was on lunch, I would, eat lunch and I would write, or, I mean, I didn't really like being outside with a lot of people. If I was outside, I would be hanging out with my friends, and that was like the only social time we really had. Um, that was kind of the only social time we really had, but some people would like, um, they wouldn't like leave me, but some days it would be so hot that my friends would, eat and that they would eat in a different area and I'd be alone. So um I didn't really like eating outside, so I'd always choose to be inside. Um I'd always choose to be inside. And mainly where I would go would be my teacher's classroom. Mainly where I would go would be like my English class or my other class, which was also my counselor's classroom. So yeah, I'd basically take the time, and when I had downtime, I would write. Even when I didn't, and also on days that I didn't have homework, I would be writing. I remember, I think it was, not the first day of senior year, but I, I honestly cannot remember what day it was exactly. But I remember a day where I did not have homework at all. I didn't have homework in English. I didn't have homework in any other of my classes, mainly because I'd most likely finish it. Like there were some assignments that I'd finish early, like my government class. Oh my gosh, government was my favorite class. I loved government because I love history so much. Even though some events in history are extremely traumatizing for me, especially, okay, like certain events in history are extremely traumatizing for me. And if you know what I'm talking about. I don't really talk about, like, certain events, but they're like super traumatizing for me, and things like that. Sorry, I'm trying to find like my earbuds, not my other earbuds, but my wired ones. I'll find them later, it's fine. So, yeah, like I loved history. I've always loved history, even though at one point I did struggle in history. I've always loved history. And oh, there they are. Never mind, I found them. Okay. So, like I've always loved history. I've always done really, really well in history. There was one point where I wasn't passing history, but I passed. But I ended up passing because I turned all the assignments in that I had. Like, I loved history my junior year. And the class that I took my senior year was like an extension of history, but I was doing desk work. Like, I was scanning, I was using Photoshop, and things like that to like help, well, not to help, but to fix images and stuff. And like I would do things like scan old yearbooks or scan documents. Meaning like we had like these old documents from several, well, it wasn't several years ago. It was like the early years of the high school that I went to. And so I would basically scan those, and if you're wondering, I do know how to use a document scanner. I learned how to use a document scanner in that class because it was necessary. So I would basically go to the back. So, okay. So the teacher that I had for my junior and senior year of high school was the, we took like I took an archiving class in high school, so I had the same teacher for 2 years. So my teacher at the time, he had 2 different classrooms. He had his history classroom, and then he had his archiving classroom. And the archiving classroom was just a room. It's just like a huge room. It was like this like huge office-like room. It kind of looked like a huge office, right? It was filled with tables and computers. And so I would work in the back. Like this whole space, like this was probably one of the biggest areas in the whole school, because there was like a room above it. I barely went up there sometimes. I went up there once, and they had like all these like trophies and stuff, and things like that were kept up there. It was like, I don't know, I think it was for storage to keep all the trophies and things. But I'll probably go for a little bit longer. But, yeah, I basically learned how to kind of got more into tech in that sense. Kind of got more into tech in that sense. And then when we moved to online school, I would just like kind of like journal everything going on with this whole quarantine thing. And then once I finished school, I went straight into work and I was so happy. I was so happy doing what I loved every day. Having time for me and not letting other things get in the way. And plus, you don't need college for everything. You do not need college for everything. Yes, it's okay to have a college degree, but you do not need, but from my experience, from my personal experience, I learned that I don't need a college degree for everything that I do. Like, you don't need a college degree to be a writer. You don't need a college degree to be a successful videographer. And I'm a hands-on person. And I'm a creative person. So I kind of, plus I, have been doing YouTube for so long that it's kind of drilled in my brain and I already know what to do. I do need to learn how to edit though. That I can teach myself how to do, like by watching videos once I get like a proper editing software. Mainly I have a proper editing software on this computer. I just can't use it because you need to update this computer, and I'm not gonna update this because I have already said before that I've had issues with this computer, so I'm not gonna update it, and I'm just going to upgrade entirely. So yeah. Plus, I mean, you can be successful without going to college. Like I don't really like that statement where you have to go to college to be successful. Because not always. You don't always have to go to college to be successful. And I was one that gravitated towards work more than anything. So I kind of like was used to working. And I think, I mean, I probably would have liked college if I went, but I just knew it wasn't for me. I just knew I didn't want to go, and I didn't. So I didn't waste my time. I didn't waste my time going. Even though I filled out applications, I didn't go to college. I am not in college. I chose not to, and I'm happy that I didn't go. So, like, I'm happy and I'm successful, or I'm, working towards being successful. I am pretty successful, and I love my job. I love working. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, I'll probably do a podcast episode of why I didn't go to college, or anything, but let me know in the comments when I post this if I should do a podcast episode of kind of why I chose not to go to college at 18, why I chose not to go to college after graduating high school, and I will do that for you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.